Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Alex Dworkin and I'm a managing partner at 4D Capital. We're going to be looking at MasterCard today. This is one of our 52 mega cap stocks that we analyze twice a year. So today is just an update. The stock is following its exact trajectory. Before we get into that, let me just very quickly introduce myself and our work. We basically specialize in a very unique mathematical approach to the stock market where we calculate the market and individual stocks in multidimensional space. And when we do, essentially perfect order presents itself. On top of that, we've developed a number of very powerful timing indicators. And when we combine both of them together, we can very often predict exactly what the overall stock market or individual stocks will do in both price and time. And we can do it on multiple time frames, whether it's short term or long term, doesn't really matter. Now, I personally believe our work is nearly identical to what Jim Simmons was able to accomplish at Renaissance Technologies, if you're familiar with Jim. So our objective, or our firm's objective, just like any other, is to identify stocks that will, for example, 2x, 5x, 10x going forward. So we're looking for the next NVIDIA, Apple, Bitcoin, Tesla, and Microsoft. But we have a special, very special weapon to accomplish that. We have developed over the last couple of years a very powerful software that calculates the market in multidimensional space using our mathematical approach. It is then able to, so what it's able to do is able to identify upcoming bottoms for stocks. So we don't typically concentrate on the short side for obvious reasons. It's a lot more difficult to make money, but we concentrate on the long side and we're looking for stocks with very important upcoming turning points, bottoms in this particular case. And then subsequently our software can analyze going forward from those bottoms exactly what that stock is going to do going forward in both time and price. And on top of that, we are then able to essentially pick out only the best opportunities that once again will 2x, 5x, 10x, and so forth. Okay. So with that in mind, let's take a look at our today's stocks, or today's stock, which is MasterCard. Let me minimize this. And I'll just give you a very brief introduction if you're not familiar with our work. If you are, you can skip forward probably a couple of minutes and it will all make sense. So what you're seeing on top of you, or what you see on the chart in front of you, the triangles, the up and down triangles, are what we call cycle composites. And bottom cycle composites represent the bottoms and top cycle composites represent the tops. Now, this is a very simplistic representation of very complex mathematical concepts. So what we do is we actually scan the chart in multidimensional space, we identify these cycles, and we project them into the future. What makes matter even more complicated, there are typically multiple composites running in any given stock or any or the overall market, let's say. I always use Dow Jones as an example. So Dow Jones has two bottom composites and two different top composites running at the same time. But if you know how to put it together, you can essentially replicate what you see on the two-dimensional time and price chart in terms of the actual stock movement. Okay, the lines you see in the chart in front of you is basically, we call them cycle clusters. Once again, it's a very simplistic representation of a very complex mathematical concept. We scan the chart back using our proprietary time cycles. We identify them and then we project them into the future. And what we found over the years is that when important turning points or short-term turning points, depending on the time frame you're looking at, typically happen when not any one cycle arrives, but when there's a multitude of cycles arriving at the same time. For example, 2, 5, 10, the more the better. And the longer term they are, the better it is, because it guarantees essentially a turning point. So I use 2009 March 6th bottom as an example. At that time we had 15 long-term cycles arriving within a 3-day period of time, that March 6th, 7th, and 8th, I believe, that essentially guaranteed, if you follow this kind of work, essentially guaranteed that the market's going to bottom on that date and then subsequently increase, and that's essentially what happened. So basically, cycle composites get us into the neighborhood where the turning point is going to occur, and cycle clusters give us the exact date of when that particular turning point is going to occur. So when we look at MasterCard, as you can see, it's been perfectly hitting longer term cyclical composition. So what it's saying right now, it is moving into this major cycle top that is scheduled for March of 2026. And once this major cycle top is achieved, it's going to move into this minor cycle bottom as we call them, half cycle bottom into the end of the or middle of 2026. It can possibly extend into the latter part of 2026, but it's a little bit early to discuss this particular parameter. So we had this forecast for a while. The stock is moving into this particular top. So as of this recording, this is exactly what it's doing. So there's no need to make any changes at this point in time, or the forecast is being followed perfectly, basically. But a point of interest is this particular the time period between this particular major cycle top and this mid-cycle bottom. This is a very short time frame between both of them, let's say 3 months, at least according to the software itself. And typically what happens is there's a very powerful move during that period of time between a major cycle top and mid-cycle bottom. So there's a very good potential that MasterCard is going to decline quite substantially and become one of our fast-moving stocks during this period of time. So as of now, there's really nothing to do if you have a long position. Just simply maintain it. I wouldn't necessarily go long at this point in time because I'm going to show you the prices of the projected bottom, and we're nearly there. So it's going to be like picking up pennies in front of the freight train, as they say. So yeah, that's pretty much the analysis for MasterCard going forward. Let me just minimize this very quickly. And these are the top projections during that period of time for the March top. I know it doesn't make much sense to you, but it makes perfect sense to us. Basically, what it's saying is that the stock is going to bottom during that period of time at one of these junctures. It is possible it's going to bottom here a little bit lower, which is essentially where we are today, a little over $600 a share. But according to our analytical work on top of this, this juncture becomes a bit a better target, let's say. And it is at approximately $640 plus or minus $10. So not much higher either, but not necessarily at these levels either. Now, how do we know which juncture it's going to be? Actually, it can go into this one as well, but we view this possibility as most likely. This juncture is at let's say $790 plus or minus $10. Once again, this is probably going to be most likely. How do we know which one it's going to be? It's very simple. As we get closer to our time turning point, it will become very clear which juncture that is. So if we're sitting around these levels, we know that we're going to hit into this area. If we surpass this level, then we know for sure we're going to hit into this area. And if we're sitting around this level, then it becomes very clear that this is going to be the top. Now, as I mentioned earlier, once the top is put in place, that's when we anticipate MasterCard to move very, very fast to the downside. We didn't calculate at this time the extent of the downside. We still have plenty of time, so we'll do it next time we analyze the stock, which is going to be in early 2026. So that's it for the analysis of MasterCard. Couple of very quick announcements. We have a webinar coming up this Friday. We talk about our mathematical approach to the stock market, how we calculate the market in multidimensional space, how we analyze stocks, how we're able to predict so accurately. We also look at our software capability, do a very quick demo, but most importantly, we talk about the overall composition of the stock market, where we are today, what it's going to do going forward. We typically shy away from having this conversation because that's our bread and butter, but during this particular webinar, we'll talk about it. So it's limited to 10 people. If you have time, it's on Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern time. Please go ahead and register. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, we have a free trial associated with our work where we follow the market. We follow the mega cap stocks, 52 of them, with time and price projections. We have fast movers, we have super equities. We have a tremendous amount of information available on our website, including trading and upcoming stocks that are about to bottom. For example, as I talked earlier, increase quite substantially going forward. If you want access to that information, we have a 30-day free trial associated with our work. And all you have to do is ask. Link at the bottom in the description of this video. And simply let us know. We'll set you up. There's no strings attached, no credit cards, none of that stuff. So that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for your time. We'll be back with another update tomorrow. Bye-bye.